Projekt Guru.
Всем привет! С вами Zak Novak на радиостанции Novorossia Rocks. Welcome to Novorossia Rocks radio station. This is Zak Novak, your American in downtown Donetsk. The program is called Projekt Guru, and Guru is in the house as always. Andre, my engineer, as well. Let's get right to it. Our hero, Captain Dragan, pleads absolutely not guilty to war crime charges. Dragan Vasilkovic, also known as Captain Dragan, on Tuesday pleaded absolutely not guilty to charges of war crimes committed against Ustashi Nazi Croatian soldiers and civilians during the war in the 90s. The much publicized high-security trial before the country court in Split, Croatia, will resume on October 18th with witness testimonies. Vasilkovic told the trial chamber he understood the indictment, but that he felt absolutely not guilty of any of the prosecution charges against him. Croatia has charged Vasilkovic, a Serbian-Australian military instructor of the former Krajina Serb forces, with responsibility for crimes committed in Knin in 91 and the vicinity of Benkovac in 93, where he allegedly tortured, abused, and killed captured Croatian Ustashi soldiers and policemen. The charges carry a maximum 20-year prison sentence. Vasilkovic was arrested in 2006 in Australia, where he worked as a golf instructor under the name Daniel Snedin. He was sent to Croatia in July 2015 after losing a 9-year legal battle to block his extradition. Death from above as U.S.-Saudi coalition kill another 32 civilians in airstrikes in Yemen. U.S.-Saudi warplanes have attacked the city of Hodeidah, the main port on the Red Sea leading to Yemen's capital city of Sana'a, the route through which most humanitarian aid flows into the city since the Saudi war. These attacks targeted a residential neighborhood near the presidential palace, destroying 3 homes and burying dozens within. The death toll has continued to rise throughout the day, and now officials say at least 32 civilians were slain in the U.S.-Saudi attack. Medical officials say they expect the toll to rise and that they believe more people are buried within the rubble. Over 75 were also confirmed wounded so far. The neighborhood is home to some members of the Shiite Houthi movement, but they do not appear to have been the ones hit in the strike, which rather leveled homes belonging to people who simply worked in the government buildings in the presidential palace complex. U.S. Saudi officials initially claimed the attack targeted rebel leaders, but have since insisted the attack was an error. One Saudi general, however, insisted the attack was deliberate and insisted they were sure everyone hit was part of the Houthi meeting. Our hero, Bashar Assad, rejects claims that Russian or Syrian forces attacked humanitarian convoy and that the U.S. has no interest in fighting terrorism. Syrian President Bashar Assad on Thursday rejected the claims that Russian or Syrian forces were behind a recent attack on the humanitarian convoy en route to Aleppo. First of all, there have been many convoys from different organizations around the world coming to different areas in Syria for the last few years. It has never happened before, so why to happen now? Either way, not by Russians or Syrians. No, it is a claim, Assad told Associated Press news agency. Meanwhile, U.S. airstrikes on Syrian government troops in the southeastern province of Deir ez-Zor was intentional because they lasted for over an hour. According to Syrian President Bashar Assad, it was definitely intentional, not unintentional as they claim. Syrian President Bashar Assad says that the U.S. airstrikes, which killed 83 Syrian government troops, were intentional and they lasted for an hour. He added that the U.S. does not have the will to join Russia in fighting terrorists in Syria. It was 4 military planes that kept attacking the position of the Syrian troops for nearly 1 hour, or a little bit more than 1 hour. You cannot commit a mistake for more than 1 hour, Assad stressed. The Pentagon said it was an accident and that the airstrikes were aimed at Islamic State ISIS terrorists. Assad also claiming that the U.S. is not interested in fighting terrorists in Syria, saying that Washington lacks the will to join Russia in trying to eliminate extremist groups. When you have many external factors that you don't control, it's going to drag on, and no one in this world can tell you when, he said, when asked when the war might end. He also said that the conflict is likely to drag on because the U.S., Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Qatar keep on supporting those opposed to Assad's rule. He maintained that Washington doesn't have the will to join Moscow in fighting terrorists in Syria as envisioned by a ceasefire agreement that 2 countries hammered out 2 weeks ago. War talk ahead of Republika Srpska's referendum on the 25th, the Balkans heating up again. The controversial referendum in Bosnia's Serb-dominated entity has unleashed passions and language of a kind not seen since the 90s, with the media in some countries fanning the flames. Serbia's President Tomislav Nikolic has asked the Serbian military to carry out its regular duties much more carefully following the heated exchange of threats between Bosniak and Bosnian Serb and Serbian officials, media reports said on Thursday. No one will catch us by surprise, President Nikolic said, adding that the situation in Bosnia-Herzegovina was being carefully monitored. His statement followed a series of harsh, even warmongering comments that have shaken the region as the controversial referendum in the mainly Serbian entity of Bosnia, Republika Srpska, draws near. Some believe the harshness of the politician's statements also reflects the fact that Bosnia faces local elections October 2nd. The referendum scheduled for 25th of September asks voters in the entity whether they support continued observance of Republika Srpska National Day on January 9th. The vote was called after Bosnia's constitutional court banned the celebration as discriminatory towards the entity non-Serbs. While the EU and the US have condemned the referendum, Russia has supported it, with the international community visibly divided over the issue. The Republika Srpska leadership has decided to proceed with the vote. Bosniaks say the referendum poses a direct challenge to the Constitutional Court and to the office of the High Representative OHR, and may be a prelude to another referendum on succession of the Republika Srpska for the rest of Bosnia. Russia destroys secret foreign military operations room, killing Israeli, American, and British intelligence officers in Syria. The Russian warship stationed in Syria's coastal waters targeted and destroyed a foreign military operations room, killing over 24 Israeli and Western intelligence officers. The Russian warships fired 3 Caliber missiles at the Foreign Officers Coordination Operations Room in Dar Eza region in the western part of Aleppo near Saman mountain, killing 30 Israeli and Western officers. The operations room was located in the western part of Aleppo province in the middle of sky-high Saman mountain and old caves. The region is deep in a chain of mountains. Several U.S., Turkish, Saudi, Qatari, and British officers were also killed along with Israeli officers. The foreign officers who were killed in Aleppo operations room were directing the terrorist attacks in Aleppo and Idlib. Earlier in September, the Syrian army units launched a preemptive strike on the terrorists of the so-called Aleppo operations room in their gathering centers near Castello Road in the northern areas of Aleppo and Malah farms, foiling their plots to attack the region's supply route. The source said that the army's artillery units attacked the terrorist gathering centers near Castello, which killed and wounded dozens of militants. Also, the Syrian Air Force attacked the terrorist supply route in northern Aleppo towards Hayyan and Anna, as well as the supply roads in western Aleppo towards the north, and smashed the terrorist convoys in Al-Hatab, which thwarted the terrorist plots and forced many of them to flee towards the Turkish borders. Informed media sources disclosed earlier that Syrian army has continued its advances in southern part of Aleppo and regained control over several strategic areas in the town of Khan Tuman. A number of key warehouses of Khan Tuman are now under Syrian army control. The source noted that the Syrian Air Force and Army's artillery units also targeted the gathering centers and fortifications of the terrorists in Khan Tuman. More from Republika Srpska as war of words and threats by the Bosnian government. Serbian Foreign Minister Ivica Dačić, also speaking from New York where he is attending the UN General Assembly, warned that Belgrade would certainly not allow military aggression against the mainly Serbian entity in Bosnia, Republika Srpska. Dačić's words were a response to the former wartime Bosnian army commander Safet Halilović, who earlier this week said that without Serbian support, Republika Srpska will not be able to resist an attack for more than 15 days. Halilović's talk on an attack was viewed as a serious escalation of the war of words over a planned referendum in Republika Srpska, which is set to take place this Sunday, September 25th. The plebiscite seeks popular support to celebrate the entity's public holiday on January 9th, but diplomats' analysis are concerned that it is a prelude to a future referendum of Republika Srpska's secession. Bosnia's constitutional court has ruled the vote illegal, but Republika Srpska's president Milorad Dodik has vowed to hold it regardless. Viva Dodik, viva Republika Srpska. Hey everyone, that ends our program. As I stress always, be safe out there, stay on alert, have a great weekend, and see you back on Monday. Bye-bye, folks.